a guided walking tour through Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland, Anaheim, California. I'm Chris, this is Yellow Productions. I do travel guides that are fun, informative, and entertaining. And in this video, I'm going to be taking you on a guided walking tour of this new land. And whether you're going to Disneyland or you're going to Disney World in Florida, they look the same. So everything you see here will transfer from California to Florida. I'm going in one of three entrances. This is the entrance from Fantasyland. So if you want to follow this tour, when you come in through Fantasyland. As we come in here, we're in the part of Galaxy's Edge that is controlled by the First Order. This is the dark side of the Force, so this is where the Stormtroopers hang out. We see a couple Stormtroopers walking around right here. They talk, they patrol the land. Well, they patrol the part of the land that the First Order controls, which is pretty fun. And I will say the fact that in this whole land people are in costume, in character, that's what makes it pretty neat. The planet that this is on is called Batuu, and the people who live on Batuu speak Batuese. By the way, if you want to know more about the language they speak here, well, I've got a whole video on that. And so in this walkthrough, I'm going to take you through the shops, I'm going to take you through the restaurants, so you can get a little bit of an idea of what's for sale in here. In this shop, you can buy a little TIE Fighter die-cast vehicle. You can buy bigger TIE Fighters. You can buy Stormtrooper costumes. These are sized for the little ones. You can buy, this is actually something I bought from this store, you can buy a Stormtrooper mug. Stormtrooper batons, Stormtrooper shields, and as you can see here, the cast members in costume. And on the right side, it's kind of Stormtrooper attire. On this side, it's black attire. Get your poster to tell people to enlist today. Join at your nearest First Order outpost. Here's someone else shooting some video with some blue milk. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So speaking of blue milk, just outside this way on the other side of this square, right back here, that's kind of hard to see because of the sun, but we'll get a little closer look to it. This is the stall that sells Galaxy's Edge signature drinks, the blue milk and the green milk. Now people always wonder, what is it? Is it sour? What is blue milk? What is green milk? Well, the blue milk and the green milk, it is essentially coconut and rice milk with some tropical flavors. You can see right up there on that sign what that kind of looks like from a sign perspective. You can also get a light up souvenir sipper, and they also do mobile orders. It is not cheap. It's like $7.99 for the blue milk or the green milk. And people often ask, Chris, which one do you like best? I've had both of them. They taste pretty similar. When I have them together, I can probably tell you which one I want, but when I have them separately, it's harder to tell. Galaxy's Edge is also famous for having these special soda containers, and I mentioned there's very little English in this land, and so actually that's the Diet Coke bottle, that's the Sprite bottle, that's the Coca-Cola bottle, and right there, that's the Dasani bottle. If you want to pick up one for yourself, it is $6 to bring one of those Coke bottles home. They look like cans, but they are actually, in fact, bottles, which I think is, I think it's worth it, because it's one of those Coke bottles that you can only get in one place. I've got one sitting on my shelf at home. So this right here, this line on the right, this is the line into Oga's Cantina. Oga's Cantina is the bar in Galaxy's Edge. To go in there, the line's getting really long. You can make reservations up to 2 weeks in advance, so I would recommend you make a reservation if you want to visit Oga's Cantina. One of the few places that sells alcoholic beverages. They do limit you to a 45-minute time and 2 alcoholic beverages during your visit. Now, just past Oga's Cantina, we are coming up on what I would say the most photographed spot of Galaxy's Edge is. And this land is really big, by the way. It's 14 acres, so it's a big land. But this right here, this is the Millennium Falcon, a life-size reproduction of the Millennium Falcon. This is a reason to come to Galaxy's Edge just in and of itself. it is really impressive. And I will say Disney spared no expense on Galaxy's Edge. And I know there are tons of like the hardcore Star Wars fans that say, well, it could be better and it's not as immersive and the rides aren't that good, but I think it's pretty cool just to come and walk around. So what you'll see over here, this is people lining up for the Millennium Falcon ride, and we'll get to that entrance in a moment. They typically also take pictures in front of this. There's usually a really long line for pictures. Today the line's actually really short for pictures in front of the Millennium Falcon. I think people like to take those pictures more at night rather than other times, but that's the quintessential shot right there to get a Galaxy's Edge in front of this big starship, which is pretty cool. So right here, this is the entrance to the Millennium Falcon ride. This is the first ride that's open at Galaxy's Edge. The second ride, Rise of the Resistance, is not open yet. This one is called Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run. They're currently not offering any fast passes. They're just doing standby and single riders. It is a like motion projection ride where you can either be one of 3 different categories, an engineer, a pilot, or you can man the gun. If you want to see more about that ride, I've got a whole video that I shot the entire ride. But even the line, just walking through the ride, is pretty neat. If you take the single rider line, then you actually don't go through the whole line, which is kind of a bummer, because actually walking through the line, I think, is a part of the ride itself. So here I'm walking up the ramp, and we're gonna go up to Docking Bay 7. Docking Bay 7 is one of 2 restaurants. You did? Hi, I'm shooting a guided walking tour, so I'll just say, hey.
I'm David from San Diego. We talked before.
Hi, David from San Diego.
Yeah, and it's just
What is that, a film?
This is film. You're going to be on the video.
Yeah.
This is the guided walking tour of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Yeah. Good to meet you all. You can look out for this in about a week. So.
I'm the one that one time offered you a free ticket to go on the ghost tours.
On the ghost tours, yes, and I never took you up on it. I'm sorry, but
all right. Open
all right. Well, David, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, thanks for saying hey. All right, the London, right on. Enjoy London. All right, thank you. It's always neat to see some fellow explorers, and I always hate to be short with people, but then I don't know how long they actually want to be in this video. So, David, if you're watching this later, thank you very much for reaching out, and thank you for saying hey. Okay, Docking Bay 7's on the right, but here, this little spot, this is my favorite spot to take actually a picture. I know lots of people take pictures down there with the Millennium Falcon, but up here, if you stand up here with this backdrop, then you get the Millennium Falcon from up high in the background, and so I like it right here. I'll just flip this around here, then you can see that's a little too bright. This camera doesn't track the brightness all that well, and I'm squinting, but if you come here at nighttime, I think this is where you can get some of the best pictures. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into Docking Bay 7. Docking Bay 7 food and cargo. I mentioned there's not much English in Galaxy's Edge. They actually do have English out here in the menu, so you know what you can get. You can get the fried Andorian tip yap noodle salad. They were pretty creative when they came up with the food here. So we'll see the seating here in a bit, but this brings you over to the right, and to the right, this would be where the line is if there's a long line. There are 3 different registers where you can order. The menus are up there in blue. It looks very futuristic. This is about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so that's why the lines aren't long, because not many people are eating at 3 o'clock. This restaurant also does mobile order pickups, so if you order from your phone, you can skip the line if you find it's really long. So I mentioned the neat part about this restaurant is it's like you're eating in a Star Wars cargo hangar. Actually, many of the booths look like cargo containers. You can see from the top there's cargo coming down from the ceiling. Frankly, just I think eating in this restaurant and the ambiance of it is reason enough to come here. And if you're not going to eat here, well then just come in here to take a look at it. This is the, I guess some some ingredients that are on display if you're interested in any of those things. And sitting in these booths themselves also makes for kind of neat pictures, because if you're doing that, right, that's, how many places do you get kind of like a red background like this? That's the camera shutter. I'm not adding any special effects on this, as it's just a one-take walkthrough. Alright, so coming out of Docking Bay 7, then we see there's a gift shop, kind of the main, I'd call it the main shop inside Galaxy's Edge. This is Dok-Ondar's Den of Antiquities that we're going to walk through. And one of the reasons why it's important to walk through these things is, and there's no English on any of these, so when you come to Galaxy's Edge, probably your first hour will just be walking around, finding doors, and walking in them to see what's in there. Well, I guess you'll know a little bit because you watched this video, but in here, this shop has more higher end stuff. They've done a really good job theming this shop. Dok-Ondar, he's there front and center in the back. This is where you can buy pre-built lightsabers, or you can just stand in here and gawk at all of the antiquities that are on the ceilings. Here on the right, they sell holocrons. That's a neat holocron right there. It talks as well. And it's also neat on their badges. Their badges actually have Aurebesh on the badge, too. That's pretty cool. Thank you very much, Mary. And if we get a closer look at Dok-Ondar back here, it's neat. They put up this animatronic shopkeeper here in the back. He moves around. It's very, very ominous looking. And then you can see in this case right here, these are all the bases of the various I can't call the bases of the lightsabers. You know, people often watch these videos and say, Chris, you know nothing about Star Wars. You can't even say the term lightsaber. But when you're shooting a continuous stream of consciousness and not doing a cut and trying to talk with a gazillion people are walking around, fairly simple things end up being hard to say and remember. So this is where you would buy pre-built lightsabers. If you want to build your own lightsaber, you would do that in Savi's workshop, which is just kind of like down the hill from this one. We will get there in just a second. Alright, so now we're kind of on the high ground of Galaxy's Edge, and we'll be going into the Black Spire Outpost Marketplace. This is essentially Batu's shopping mall, for lack of a better term. And the first thing we encounter is a droid roasting some meat from an engine. And this meat you can buy right back here at Ronto Roasters. This is the second restaurant inside Galaxy's Edge. Their big thing is the Ronto wrap, which is essentially a pork wrap with grilled pork sausage in kind of a Mediterranean style wrap. So you can get those there, and then you can sit in some of the seats that flank the engine this way. Alright, so now this is looking out on the marketplace. There's maybe 8-ish stalls in here. We'll go through each one of these stalls individually so you can get a look at it. This is the popcorn stall. In here you can get a bag of popcorn for $6.49, or you can get your popcorn in a droid for $20. It's colorful popcorn, looks like this, and you can see these are the containers that the popcorn comes in, little bag, or the black droid right there that has Chewbacca in it. Okay, continuing through the marketplace, the next shop we have sells Jedi Outfits. So if you've ever wanted to get a Jedi outfit, this is your spot. You can get a robe, and this guy right here, I love this guy on his shoulder.
Your name's Salacious Crumb, and they won't have your size.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. And see, that's what I say I love about the cast members here, being in character. It's just so much fun. They're not just working here, but they're actually acting as a part of it. And I love that they see cameras and they come up and they're like, oh, let me do a little bit of acting in front of that camera. So thank you very much to that guy, if you watch this later. Here we've got some children's toys from Batu. We've got some stuffed animals over here. Some more stuffed animals. If you wanted to get that Chewbacca, he is right up here. I think it's funny that they also have this croaking frog on Batuu. If you know, we call them dice on Earth, but they call them chance cubes. They also got these like wooden stormtroopers. So these would be interesting gifts for the kiddos that you probably don't see everywhere at Target and Walmart. All right, even the janitors dress up in character right here. So the few English things you'll see, we've seen few English signs, like a Docking Bay 7 had an English sign. The restrooms have English signs too. This is one of 2 restrooms in Batuu, and they've got a special name for restrooms. If you want to know what that is, then watch my video on language in Batuu. This is the drinking fountain, and you can see the drinking fountain has the sign right here. If you want to know what that says, well then you use the Galaxy's Edge part of the Disneyland app, and it'll actually translate it for you into English. There are some parts of this marketplace that don't sell anything, like this right here. This is just a decorative side of it that you'd see these blasters and parts being made, wooden things being carved. Over here, if you wanted to get one of those things we saw on that other guy's shoulder, you can pick them up at this shop. And she's wearing it right here. You can see these things are actually controlled by these little remotes. Pick this up, and we can turn his head. And what's this do? This opens and closes his mouth. Do you guys think this should be like my next Topher replacement? Should this guy go around with me? What do you think? I don't know. He's not that cute. Their staff members are playing a little game right here. What is this called? Be Yorick. That's cool. And if it's hot, you can pick up a mister. Keep yourself cool. Okay, so now we're going back the other way in the marketplace to look at the things on the other side that we didn't catch earlier. This is another vendor that sells stuffed animals. These are kind of bigger than the other one. They're fuzzier. Got these big white ones, and got some things that aren't for sale, like this guy. Bring one home with you. And there's a little caged creature right here in this cage. He's also not for sale, but he's just to give you that vibe. Ooh, these guys are cute. Oh, do they have eyes? Yeah, they have eyes right there. These are interesting creatures, definitely from another planet. And then there's one more stall just around this side. This side sells more of the Black Spire Outpost branded merchandise. So this is kind of like the hotel gift shop. So you can get like the t-shirt that says Black Spire Outpost. You can get the mug that says Black Spire Outpost. You can get this ornament. You can get this other mug. Back over here, they've got luggage tags. They've got patches. They've got lanyards if you do the pin collecting thing. Back here, they've just got something to add some ambiance. You can get a photo frame. So this is you want people to really know you came here, pick up something from this shop. Okay, and that brings us to the Ronto Roasters. So I'm going to go back through the marketplace this way, because it's more interesting to walk through the marketplace than it is the outside lane, and we'll traverse that outside lane once we've exited this marketplace. Now, one of the things I like about Galaxy's Edge is the sounds that are in here. They've done a really good job with the sound effects. It's not like the rest of Disneyland that you hear, you know, the teacups music or cheery songs. All of that from Disneyland fades away, and here you definitely get the sounds of this foreign planet. I mean, the part that doesn't fade away is all the guests and all the people that are here. I'm shooting this because people often ask these things. I'm shooting this on October 14th, 2019, which is Columbus Day. So if you're wondering how busy it will be when you're going to come, well, I don't know, but this is how busy it was on Columbus Day 2019. Okay, so walking back in this way, this walks to one of the other 3 entrances to Galaxy's Edge. This is the goes to where the entrance or exit from Critter Country is. So if you wanted to come up this way, if you find Splash Mountain and then you find the Hungry Bear restaurant, it's just to the right of the Hungry Bear restaurant. I say that because if you were walking around the park, you would never actually find a sign that would say where Galaxy's Edge is. You just kind of have to know where it is. All right, so this part of Galaxy's Edge is controlled by the Rebellion. I mentioned that there were kind of 2 orders in Galaxy's Edge. There's the First Order and there's the Rebellion. So we've got some shipping containers back here that are selling Rebellion merchandise. But we've also got this crowd here. This crowd is here because Chewbacca's here. Look at Chewbacca. And Chewbacca's interacting with the crowd. Is Chewbacca leaving? I think Chewbacca's leaving. Somebody's showing Chewbacca their phone. Yeah, Chewbacca looks like he's leaving that way. So, I guess he didn't want to be on camera. Here we have a Rebellion spacecraft. Makes various signs, lights up at night, the engines kind of shoot. There's a kind of a racer there in the background. And then over here, this is the ride that's not open yet, but should be open in early 2020. This is going to be the entrance to Rise of Resistance, which Disney dubs as the most immersive ride ever conceived in a Disney theme park. And if you hear those engine noises in the background, that's coming from this spacecraft this way. So I'm not going to continue down that path the direction I was walking, because that would take us out of Galaxy's Edge into Critter Country, and frankly that walk there's not much on it other than plants and trees and a sidewalk. So here you can pick up your Rebellion wear. You can pick up some collectible figurines that are part of the Rebellion. You can pick up your helmets. Definitely need one of those helmets. Oh, this is also funny. One of the few things that looks out of place in this land, you can pick up sunscreen. Oh, and I mentioned like everything is Galaxy's Edge themed. Even the credit card machines here look different than the credit card machines in the rest of the theme park. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and walk back towards the marketplace, and then just to the right of it to cover kind of the second part of the loop that we didn't cover when we were walking through. But this part of the walk that I'm going to take you on, this is more I'll call it the scenic part of Galaxy's Edge, and it's just got what I'll call things to look at. And a lot of people, I mentioned earlier, complain that Galaxy's Edge, it doesn't have a lot of rides. Right now there's just one. There's going to be 2. We don't know what that one's going to be like. Hopefully it'll be awesome. But this is one of those things that just is immersive and immerses you in the planet. I've come here once to ride that ride. I think I've been in this land maybe 5 or 6 times now. And all the other times I've just enjoyed walking around, seeing it, talking to the staff. And generally experiencing the planet of Batuu. Now, the Savi's workshop that I talked about, which is the one where you can make a lightsaber. If you want to make a lightsaber, the procedure for doing that is you need to use your datapad, or known as your cell phone, and make a reservation to do that the day of. Sometimes they'll have some standby ones the same day, but it's pretty highly competitive. This is the marketplace that we walked through earlier. We're looking at it just from a different perspective. This is this area up here. That's where the Ronto Roasters seating area was. And docking bay 7 was just up that way. It is funny, occasionally you'll find a few Disneyland people that are dressed in normal Disneyland attire. Like this guy dressed in white over here. He looks a little out of place. Maybe he wasn't supposed to be here today. I don't know. Over here on the right, we've got one of just the ambient things to look at. This is looks like a workshop of some sort where they're building some racers. In here you can listen to some like local radio from Batuu. We got some Stormtroopers coming up here, so let's go take a look at these Stormtroopers.
We'll assume that's a mistake. Correct it. So, upper just like
Okay, so this nondescript thing right here with these blue draped cloth. This is Savi's workshop, so if you reserved your lightsaber making experience, then you would come here to check in for it. If you're having trouble looking for something, just ask some of the cast members, hey, can you tell me where I can make the lightsabers? Hey, can you tell me where Savi's workshop is? Here's looking back at docking bay 7. That was that restaurant we walked through, and what I think is neat is right up there. There's actually like a cargo ship on top of it that has some containers. Obviously those are the containers that you saw people eating in for their booths. Okay, so over here on the right, this is the second entrance to Galaxy's Edge. I mentioned there was 3. I came in the one that was through Fantasyland. This is the one to Frontierland. And then the one that I didn't take you to because I just didn't want to walk 5 minutes more down that path was the one to Critter Country, but I pointed at it earlier. This is the Droid Factory. And when we come in here, you'll see all of these droid parts in the ceiling that are moving through. In here for $99, you can walk in and stand in this little line. You can make a custom droid for $100. This one does not require any reservations. The other merchandise that you don't have to make is a bunch of droid-related merchandise. So you can pick up R2-D2, or you can pick up a BB-8, or you can pick up a t-shirt that has some droids on it from the Droid Depot. And here there's, I think, like 14 stations to make your droids. If we come over here, maybe we can see some of the droid parts coming along. These are the droid parts that come along this conveyor belt. You pick a few of the parts that you want, you put them in a little basket like that, and then you come over here, and one of the staff members helps you put your droid together. The second half of the shop sells more droid-themed things, but what I want to point out, they have the life-size custom astromech droids. This R2-D2 right here is $25,000, so make sure to bring your Platinum credit card. They've got some more droids behind the cash register. I think only that one is for sale. Okay, so leaving the Droid Depot, there's that entrance to Frontierland again. There's a few droids that'll be in front of it. Of course, I happen to like this yellow one right here. I bet you know why. And actually, these things move, and they make noise as you go by. This is what I mean about this land just being immersive and neat to walk through. Because it's just neat to walk up and look at these things and hear these things. And if you're a Star Wars fan, you're like, this really looks like Star Wars. And even if you're not a Star Wars fan, I'm sure you've seen lots of Star Wars things. And so you'll be like, oh, okay. They did a good job on this. This little courtyard right here, there's some more droids on the left. Right here. This looks like some droid workshop that nobody's working at. Maybe it's Columbus Day, it's a holiday, so they're at home too. And the second bathrooms in Galaxy's Edge are right back in here. There's a second water fountain right by this bathroom on the left. And then looking at this TIE fighter, we started exactly where we began. Well, with that, now you have a good thing to base your trip to Galaxy's Edge on. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to know more about Galaxy's Edge, like the lingo, things to know, you want to know more about Disneyland, cheap eats, this and that, you can click here to watch some of my other videos on Disneyland. You also find the link in the description to my entire Disneyland series. As usual, I won't say goodbye because I'm going to see you in one of these videos.